Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the twitch.tv/Steven Larson. Earlier today, we had a really fun Friendo draft. First time, obviously, in 2 years we've done one of these.
Yeah.
Because of the debacle that was the disappearance of WWE 2K21. So, do we even do one for 2K20?
No.
This is the first one since 2019 in 3 years, huh?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, because that's right. We just played a little bit of 2K20, realized it was crap. Yeah. And then just didn't do anything with it.
And then we were going to do something in 19, pandemic happened, and we just didn't do it.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So no, honestly, dude, we were sitting there was like 26 pages of community creations. And I swear to you, they were almost all of them were stellar.
Yep.
I mean, partially the game just has really better graphics this year. So I guess maybe it's easier to phone it in, but I'm not going to assume that, man. Just because Ears of Justice says he spent like 5 minutes on one of my favorite picks, Harold Trout. Mm-hmm. But so many of you put so much work into it, and we really want to thank you very much for it. Yes. And we had a blast doing it. Of course, because we did that today, we had uploaded a previously recorded episode of our King of the Ring 1996 review. That is up right now. Mm-hmm. And then, which means tonight, of course, after we run down tonight's AEW, we're going to be talking about NXT, featuring a brand new set of tag team champions there in NXT, which is pretty interesting. We'll have a lot to talk about with that. But first up, let's talk about some AEW. I thought it was a really, really, really fun show tonight. It was a solid 2 hours. Yeah. 2 hours on the dot of an awesome Dynamite. And there was also an overrun. Not so much.
Yeah, the 3-minute overrun. Didn't need it. How funny would the show would have been if Jay Lethal's like, Joe, we got your gift. Open up the box, and inside is Jay Lethal's middle finger, and the show ends on just like disappointed Joe face. Man, that'd have been great.
That would have been amazing. That would have been show of the year if it just ended on this. And Joe like, and then, we got to go. Robin Hood's next.
Yeah, just heavy sigh from Joe, and then off they go to whatever's on next. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because like what a crummy way to inaugurate yourself, or to be crowned the new Ring of Honor television champion, which he was tonight in a match.
In a really fun match against Minoru Suzuki, But instead, lights come down. Usually they do that. That's like something, kind of significant's going to happen.
Well, it did.
Lights come down. And they come back up. It's not Claudio Castagnoli. It's Satnam Singh. So I'd heard that he was training, whether it be AEW Academy, Nightmare Factory, whatever they're calling the wrestling school now. And he's a former basketball player. He is huge.
He's a big guy.
7 something. I don't know how tall he is, but he's really tall. And so he's in the ring, and he's Jay Lethal's heater.
Yeah.
And so he's beating up Joe.
I mean, come on. It was just underwhelming.
It was underwhelming. I was trying to find the exact word I wanted to use, and underwhelming is it. It was very underwhelming. Because the expectation is lights come down, lights come back up. Your expectations are, this is going to be something huge. And I guess he is literally huge. He's a massive human being.
Yeah.
But, in terms of what we've been conditioned to expect, underwhelming.
Well, the NBA playoffs are coming up, and we
happening now. The play-in tournament's happening now, Steve.
The play-in tournament's happening right now, and of course, we have we had an insider in chat let us know the real reason why this fella showed up. It's because in order to get that overrun, Tony Khan had to agree to put a former NBA player, apparently according to Wikipedia, that's by the way a joke. Satnam Singh. He actually had a workout at the WWE Performance Center back in 2017.
All right,
and then in September of last year, he was signed by All Elite Wrestling, and then he made his debut, of course, tonight.
Who did he play for when he was in the NBA?
The Mavericks.
All right.
I believe so. Anyways, let me double check
That
here. I
sounds
thought
right.
I saw him in a Maverick uniform, and in fact, he did. In fact, yes, selected by the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah, did he actually? Let's see here. Yeah, 52nd overall pick. So, anyways, it's fun to talk about the silliness that, because it's the last thing that we're left with. It's the last image we're left with. But I really don't want it to cloud a really solid episode of Dynamite, man. I mean, let's talk about for a second, how much does your chest hurt just having experienced the first 5 minutes, 5 solid minutes. 5 minutes can be a long time, Larson.
Yeah.
Of just chops from Joe and Suzuki.
Yeah, no, if 5 minutes seemed like an eternity when your chest is getting pummeled by chops. Joe's chest was already starting to bruise and blister up along his collarbone, I believe on his left shoulder chest area.
Yeah, it was rough.
Suzuki's chest was getting red too. Just fantastic, violent, professional wrestling. A lot of fun. And we got ourselves a new Ring of Honor TV champion. All the wrestling tonight, I thought was a lot of fun.
Yeah, all the wrestling was good. I did, once again, this is a caveat that you can apply to pretty much any episode. Not enough women's wrestling.
Yes.
I understand they're building up Marina Shafir as, it's trying to get a strong submission opponent to take Jade out of her game, and Jade's not taking her seriously. I get that. That match wasn't, I don't know, it was a bit on the underwhelming side, to be honest with you. Marina might have a bright future. I'm not sure. But yeah, I would have liked another. Yeah. I mean, dude, you have how many matches? You can't throw another women's match in there. That can kind of be said on any episode of AEW.
Yes.
My match of the night, for my money, was Hobbs and Starks.
Oh, that was
versus
great.
Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. God damn, what a good match. I thought they were going to give the win somehow, some way to Ricky Starks because, of his connection with New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to see Hobbs get that spine buster win over Keith Lee, shit, that was good.
That was great. I was pretty surprised that was the finish, but it's not to say I wasn't pleased. I was. We're huge fans of Powerhouse Hobbs here going in Raw, to see him get a huge win like that. It's great. Fantastic.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Wardlow is going to be back in action. He, once again, this time, through subterfuge, took out security during an MJF Shawn Dean match. Of course, Shawn Dean always in the middle of this stuff.
Yeah.
And Wardlow, this time, absconds with a shirt from security. It's like a medium for him.
I did like how commentary saw one of the security guards had no shirt on. Like, so he's taking shirts now?
It was kind of obvious what he was going to do. My thing was, when I saw the shirt was gone, I was like, that's not going to cut, but he wore a mask. Yeah. It's like his shirt's it's not exactly Superman Clark Kent here. But he wore the hat and he wore the mask. And of course, MJF goes and puts his back to the crowd right near the barricade. And Wardlow saunters up to him, gives him the double thumbs up. MJF is curious about the crowd's reaction and turns around and Wardlow attacks, or he hops over and runs MJF up the ramp. So, piles upon piles of security comes out. MJF takes the loss in a really clever bit, tries to bribe Bryce the ref into not counting that final 10. Bryce does it anyways, and then a little bit later, MJF says, "Fine, pig, Wardlow. You want to mix it up? Oh, I'm going to mix it up with you. I'm going to give you appropriately named, but I'm sorry, as much as I love the Butcher, they haven't done much to inspire much confidence with me and the Butcher these days. So next week we're getting Wardlow versus the Butcher."
Yeah, Wardlow's going to wipe the floor with the Butcher.
Now, I would assume, if MJF was smart, he'd make this some sort of no DQ so he can have, a bunch of armed security guys
exactly.
on his payroll.
Thing. Yeah.
Right, attack. I don't think he's going to do that, but I do appreciate that they're escalating this week to week. The posters are getting bigger.
Yeah. It's not like they're just doing the same thing week after 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 week.
It seems like this is going to be the double or nothing thing, right?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That would make a lot of sense. And thankfully they're taking their time with it, but week by week escalating things. So let's jump into it. Show opened up with CM Punk versus Penta Oscuro. This match was made on Twitter by Tony Khan after CM Punk pretty much says, I want someone to fight me this Wednesday. A bunch of wrestlers stepped up. Penta gets the match. Didn't disappoint. Phil did a hell of a job selling knee during this match. When he slipped off the top rope. I don't know if that was intentional or not when he was going for that Rana.
I don't know.
Man, he was really selling it. Doesn't seem like he's hurt because he got him up for GTS to get the win.
Yeah, I think
in fact, he caught Penta mid-springboard.
Yeah, that was rad.
That takes a good base. Strong legs.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know if you can do that if you have a knee injury.
Good chunks.
Bang. GTS get the win. Really fun match. Goes out to the apron. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, good stuff. After that, funny little bit, Jericho Appreciation Society arrive at the airport on their private jet. Jericho gets out, says, this is how real sports entertainers travel. Only the best for us. And then you hear, hey! And it's Kingston.
On site.
Thank you. Kingston and Santana and Ortiz drive up in a car. It's like, hey, on site. We told you. We're going to see you tonight. And then they dump 2.0 out of their car. And once again, Kingston has taken the shoes of an opponent. This time, Angelo took his shoes and they drive off.
Oh, it was great.
Hilarious little bit. And they had a wildly fun match a little bit later.
They did. Before that, we had a match for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Redragon taking on Jurassic Express. This is a lot of fun, too. I was actually pretty surprised that Redragon didn't pick up the win here, especially how the match played out. Because they were destroying Marcel Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, but they were working over both their knees. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like it was a situation where, okay, this is booked like a totally believable title change here. Doesn't make Jurassic Express look bad, and in the end, no, it's Jurassic Express hits their finish after Luchasaurus kicks Kyle O'Reilly out of the ring. Bob Fish eats the finisher. Kyle O'Reilly runs back into the ring afterwards with a chair, clobbers Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with it, and just screams, "That's bullshit! It's BS! BS!" And so Redragon walk up the ramp. They're met there by FTR. And they have a face-off, holding belts up in their face and pie facing and pushing. So I guess we're going to get that soon, which would be really good.
Let's talk about that here. We've talked endlessly about the idea that Christian is going to turn on Jurassic Express. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they might do a scenario, given that FTR is so over his faces. Yes. And come on, it's clear they got each of these guys is holding 2 titles. They got 2 tag championships right now. It would not shock me if they were the ones to take those titles off of Jurassic Express. The thing is, and Tony Khan's fine with doing face versus face or heel versus heel. He's fine with that. But I don't know. Do you think maybe it might be a situation where instead of turning on them, Christian is able to get them to be a bit cheaty, to be bad guys, and thus justify a heel versus face type thing for
Or it might
Lucha
just be
Express?
A thing where Christian's trying to nudge him in that direction. Hey, you just barely beat Redragon here. You gotta do whatever it takes to keep those titles. Mm-hmm. And Jungle Boy is resistant. Luchasaurus is like, okay, whatever. And so we have that dynamic, which could maybe lead to Jungle Boy getting a singles push.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be. I feel like Jungle Boy should do some Ring of Honor time. Flesh out his character a little bit, because the dude does not talk.
Not a whole lot, no. Not a whole lot.
He gets like a couple sentences in every other week whenever they do a Jurassic Express, I call them Lucha Express, really, Jurassic Express promo. So I don't know. I do think that they need to mix it up a little bit with Jurassic Express. Do something a little bit different there. Get some, like you said, maybe Christian tries to bring him there and Jungle Boy is resistant to that. I don't know what you do. But I get the feeling once FTR came out with those titles, I'm like, oh, that's right. FTR, they got like a bunch of titles. They're collecting titles. It's gotta be that.
You'd think it'd be FTR. They're on a hell of a run right now. Hell of a run. After that, we had a Blackpool Combat Club interview, and Regal's like, man, I couldn't be more happy to be here.
So happy.
I'm surrounded by the 3 baddest men in AEW. Bryan Danielson says they're fired up because Wheeler Yuta is fighting with us, and now that next we're fighting the Gun Club, and then Mox calls Gun Club a bunch of goofs.
He says, I don't like the Gun Club. I don't really know them. I think they're a bunch of goofs.
We need less goofs in AEW. And then Wheeler Yuta says, Friday, the real work begins.
Yeah. After that, we had a face-off interview with Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm. Schiavone said, thank you for keeping this physical confrontation free. He says Jamie's going to face Tony in the first round of the Owen. She says, I want this match more than the fans. There's a lot of similarities between us. We both traveled the world honing their craft. She says, just like Owen. She said, but this is my crowning moment at AEW, and you can't stop that. And then Tony just sort of smiles, and Jamie's like, what? You ain't got nothing to say? You ain't got nothing to say? And Tony just sort of smiles and walks away. And she's like, yeah, of course you ain't got nothing to say. Tony's going to win that match.
Oh, yeah. After that, we had MJF versus Sean Dean. So MJF comes to the ring in a jacket. And he's having a hard time getting the zipper down. It's like,
I hate when that happens.
Like his scarf got caught in it. And I was hoping, obviously there's some sort of subterfuge up, but I was hoping he'd have like some sort of steel plate.
Oh, that's good.
Something like that. Something underneath the jacket he could use to his advantage. But no, it was just a distraction. And he just hits Dean from behind eventually. And then like right away takes the jacket off. It was all a ruse. So anyways, we cut backstage. Security's all laid out. One dude's missing a shirt. Crowd starts chanting Wardlow. And MJF takes a second, looks around. No Wardlow. Throws Sean Dean out of the ring. Throws him the barricade. Leans against it to pose. And that's when a security guard walks up behind him. Hey, it's Wardlow.
Big, beefy muscle hamster.
Yeah, he jumps the barricade. MJF runs away from him. Wardlow follows up towards the ramp. Spears blasts Wardlow in the back with the chair. Wardlow completely no-sells it. It's about to powerbomb Spears on the floor. Instead, security runs out. Wardlow's able to fend off like 5 or 6 of them. Eventually, there's like a dozen security guards holding him back. The thing is, ref's counting. Bryce Remsburg, he's counting a 10 count. And so MJF is trying to get back in the ring. So Wardlow can't really move towards MJF, but he can kind of move a little bit side to side enough to kind of block MJF's path back in the ring. So MJF yells at Bryce Remsburg, hey, whatever Tony Khan is paying you, he grabs the mic. I'll pay you triple if you don't count me out. And Bryce thinks about it, counts to 10, Sean Dean wins.
Yeah, another big win for Sean Dean.
Indeed. So MJF gets in the ring, he shoves Bryce. Bryce shoves him back. MJF's about to punch him or something. Spears gets in there. Make sure there's no altercation beyond that. Backstage, Wardlow's destroying more security guards, and he grabs the camera and says, this isn't going to stop until you release me from my contract. Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, Lumen Skin. Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Let's talk skincare.
Okay.
So I'm sure a lot of the friendos out there are once like me. Your skincare routine probably consisted of washing your face with the same body wash used on the rest of your body, and probably thought, hey, this has got to be good enough. Yeah? Well, I've got some bad news. That body wash you've been using all these years is damaging your skin.
Ah, man, it totally is. But with Lumen, you can drop that bottle of 3-in-1 and start using products that actually take care of your skin. Lumen's products aim to help those with stubborn acne scars, under-eye dark circles, wrinkles, sun damage, dry skin, and oily skin. And getting started is easy. All you got to do is take the 2-minute quiz on their website, and they'll tell you which skincare routine is best suited for your needs.
Yeah, I took the quiz, and I got the Anti-Fatigue Essential Set to help with these dark circles I keep getting under my eyes. And with Lumen, I know I'm getting high-quality products made with natural ingredients like licorice root extract, rose flower oil, charcoal powder, ginger, and green tea.
So level up your skincare game with Lumen Skin today. Go to lumenskin.com/raw to get your free trial of Lumen's products.
That's LUMIN skin.com/raw to get your free trial of Lumen's products. lumenskin.com/raw. And let's get a word from our sponsor, Blenders Eyewear. From the sandy beaches of San Diego, California comes the only sunglasses brand I'm ever going to wear again, Steve. I'm talking about Blenders Eyewear. And you're going to be just as hooked. When you witness how awesome they are, I got myself a pair of, look at these, Ice Crush shades.
Ooh.
Look at those.
Yeah.
And they're my go-to sunglasses to wear when I'm out on my morning walks or running errands.
Man, I got some stone breakers. Blender's team of in-house designers are always coming up with new styles, too. Like orange polarized wraparounds, tortoise shell frames with purple lenses, and classic gold arms on black lenses.
And unlike expensive big brand shades, Blenders are actually affordable and still offer the same cool factor as other leading styles. And they've got more than sunglasses. Blenders offers prescription glasses, readers, and blue lights, as well as a snow collection with goggles and accessories. So live life in forward motion with Blenders today.
To score 15% off your Blenders purchase, visit blenderseyewear.com and enter promo code RAWVIP. That's blenderseyewear.com, code RAWVIP for 15% off. Blenders, rocked with pride worldwide. And before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Get Upside. Hey, Larson.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that basically everything is getting more expensive these days? From gas to groceries to dining out, inflation is really hitting us in the wallet, man.
I have noticed that, Steve, which is why I started using Get Upside. Been using their app when I buy gas or I'm eating out, and I'm getting cash back with every purchase. Just last week, I put some gas in my car, and then after that, went and bought a burrito using Get Upside, and now I've got a few extra dollars just waiting to be spent on more burritos.
Oh, man. I love that you said more burritos. They're so delicious. And so are the offers you can get through Get Upside. All you got to do to get started is download the Get Upside app in the App Store or Google Play. Open it up, claim an offer for whatever you're buying, and then check in and pay as you normally would with a credit or debit card and get paid. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon or a bunch of other brands.
So download the free Get Upside app and use promo code RAW to get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more using promo code RAW.
After that, we had a Darby Allin short film, little student film production here. Him skateboarding on the streets of wherever he is. And he comes across like sort of the skeleton, if you will, of a coffin.
Frame, if you will.
Frame, thank you. That's what I was looking for. It says, Andrade, I'm going to put a nail in this whole thing. Coffin match.
Yeah.
Why is Malachi Black still feuding with Fuego, Larson? This is a small qualm in an overall really good, but I'm sitting here, I'm like, at least he's not stuck in a room somewhere. I mean, he kind of is.
He is. This is literally him in a room, dark room.
This is him in a room, but he's not like stuck there week after week.
He hasn't been there for a year, no.
But like he said, Malachi says, Fuego. And immediately when he said that, I was like, really?
Yeah, I know.
Still?
I know.
How do he shouldn't even know this guy's name. He says, Fuego. Are our hopes and dreams the same? The main difference between us, if someone cuts open my throat, I dig in and find a dark abyss of razor blades. Says Fuego's, your fans cheer you. I'm reading Larson's notes.
Yes.
Because they wish it.
Because House of Black wishes it to happen, sorry.
Because I wish it to happen. Yeah. Something. I'm going to drag your soul down and kill it. I'm like, what? This is a Dark Elevation feud, man. Step up. Get out of there.
I know.
Take on fucking somebody else, man. The chairman, Camarado, anybody.
Yeah.
Nick Camarado.
Yeah, I know. Or perhaps the Jericho Appreciation Society. They're in action next against Eddie Kingston and Santana Ortiz. Shout out to Eddie Kingston wearing the Junkyard Dog shirt. That was great.
Thump.
And then Ortiz has Angelo Parker's shoes with him. Fun bout.
And Angelo, by the way, in the time from A to B, had not found a replacement pair. He came out bare feet.
Yeah, later on. Yeah, he did. So eventually 2.0, you mentioned. Matt, what's his new last name?
Menard,
thank you. Angelo Parker come to ringside. Ortiz takes him out with a tope. Eddie gets back in the ring. He hits Garcia with an exploder suplex. He's looking for the back fist. Garcia ducks it, shoves Eddie towards the ropes, and there's Jericho waiting with Floyd. Hits Eddie in the back with the bat. Garcia covers to get the win, and then the JAS attacks Eddie. They bring in Santana Ortiz. They just beat them all up.
Yeah, I was wondering if like somebody was going to come and make the save.
I know, because the JAS still has numbers advantage, so you got to think at a certain point, two people are going to step up to help out Eddie, Santana, and Ortiz.
I mean, I thought it would have been Mox and Danielson, but now there's three of them.
Yeah.
So like that, then the math doesn't work, and they're doing their own thing anyway. So what other two guys could there be?
Bear Country.
Bear Country. That's no. Wait, is there somebody else who used to have
Homicide and Hernandez.
That would actually totally work. 1,000% that would work. That would actually be kind of rad. Hopefully Hernandez has that wad of cash gimmick still.
Oh, yeah.
From Impact. After that, we had an MJF interview. He says, I'm the pinnacle of pro wrestling. But he says, it's so funny what happened tonight. We want to laugh. No sympathy for the devil, but that's fine because I have money. He tells Mark Sterling, his lawyer, to read from Wardlow's contract. And he's like, MJF, he can put Wardlow in whatever match he wants. And he says, I'm going to put Wardlow to work. No more staying home. He says, I know how to slaughter a pig. And he hands Jose, the assistant, an envelope full of money. And then he says, a butcher. Mm-hmm. And then the butcher walks in and goes, bleh.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, son, you're going to get murdered.
Yeah, he's going to get wrecked.
You're going to get wrecked.
Then we have Marina Shafir taking on Sky Blue. So you got Jade and Mark Sterling watching backstage. Well, more so Mark Sterling. He's writing notes.
Jade was on her
She's looking
social
on her phone,
media. Yeah.
Not paying attention. And he had Red Velvet and Kira Hogan sitting next to the baddie section.
Yeah. A couple of baddies right there.
Yeah.
JR said, oh, good looking. JR always has to point out that shit. Well, man, they're good looking. Thanks, JR.
Yeah, thanks, JR.
JR was on. He was on one tonight, man.
Shafir.
He was so confused when he saw that NWO JR in the crowd.
Yeah, I know.
What am I doing out there? What's going on? Oh, she's good looking.
So Shafir ends up winning with the triangle. Maybe not the best matching of styles here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a strong win for Marina Shafir going into her match against Jade Cargill coming up. So this is Marina Shafir's first TV match, so you got to get her somewhat familiar with the audience before Jade beats her.
Yeah. I mean, she's. After that, we had what was going to be a Hook interview. Next week, he's got a match on Dynamite, and then it's funny. Like the audio in the segment, it was so echoey.
It really
Tony
was.
Nese,
It was a hotel
and
gym or something like that.
Yeah, right. So Nese and Sterling walk in. Of course, Tony Nese just signed a contract with Sterling. Mark's like, hey, why is nobody interviewing my guy, Tony Nese? And Tony Nese is like, hey, I want to talk. He says, no one wants to talk with someone who's worked for their success. They just want to interview someone who was handed their success. Hook stands up, and Sterling and Nese leave. And then Danhausen enters frame. And he was wearing like, it looked like
workout clothes.
Well, yeah, it was like spandex. It was more like a bicycle onesie.
Yeah.
With like cut off shorts and sleeves. And then he tries to curse Hook, and then Hook throws a medicine ball at him.
And he kind of topples over.
Yes.
Then we got a Man of the Year Dan Lambert promo. The only thing I gathered from this is that Scorpio Sky is wrestling Sammy Guevara at Battle of the Belts.
Yeah, hopefully we could just move on from Sammy and Ty at that point. You know, I hear Dark and Elevation is a show that I don't watch. Maybe they can be there. After that, we had, God damn, this match. This was so good.
Tons of fun. It was awesome hearing the reception that Ricky Starks got.
That dude was on the verge of tears.
I know.
Oh, it was beautiful. His music is really, it's really like one of my top three.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
It's great. Yeah. So Hobbs and Starks versus Swerve and Keith Lee. And man, Swerve is so fucking smooth. So much. I mean, it's all just effortless, and it flows from one move to the next.
Yep.
Oh, he's so much fun to watch.
He really is. He's tons of fun. That spot he did where he did the moonsault off of Keith Lee's shoulders after they sent Team Taz out of the ring. The bit where Hobbs is trying to spear Keith from behind, Keith Lee leapfrogs, and so Hobbs spears Starks instead.
Yeah.
And then Lee picks up Starks and beals him into Hobbs. That was great.
Yeah,
a lot of really fun stuff in this match. Ricky Starks kept on trying to go for his finisher on Keith Lee. It didn't work out for him. Instead, though, he did hit a tornado DDT. Swerve breaks up that pin with the 450. So Hobbs takes out Swerve. And then Lee's looking for his finish on Hobbs. Hobbs escapes that. So Lee runs the ropes. Taz had come out just a little bit prior, grabs Keith Lee by his foot, kind of trips him up a little bit, and allows Powerhouse Hobbs, to hit a spine buster to get the win.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. I mean, it sort of, foreshadows a big Keith Lee win over Hobbs once they get in there one-on-one.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Great win for Hobbs. Yeah. This was awesome. And yeah, for the Ricky Starks getting the team win in his hometown is fantastic.
It is.
Advertised here for Battle of the Belts. Jonathan Gresham versus Dalton Castle. He's a former champion there in Ring of Honor. Isn't he?
Yep.
After that, we had a Thunder Rosa interview. I know you were big on the Nyla Rose bit in here, so why don't you take this one?
Great. So she's being interviewed. She said she's excited to defend her title at Battle of the Belts in the main event. Nyla and Vicky step in. And so Nyla's like, hey, we got you a cake. It's supposed to have writing on it, but it doesn't because we didn't want to spend the money on it. And Vicky says, yeah, we're here to celebrate your short title reign, Thunder. And then Thunder Rosa's like, okay, do you think I'm stupid? And then both Nyla and Vicky go, yes. So Thunder Rosa smacks the cake up in Nyla's face. Nyla charges Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa sidesteps. So instead, Nyla ends up clobbering Vicky. Mm-hmm. So then Thunder Rosa and Nyla end up brawling to the rest, come out and break it up. And then Nyla walks off screen and she just says, I love cake and violence. Oh, that was so good. Gosh.
That was really good stuff.
I laughed pretty hard about that.
That's got to be, what is it, Shop AEW?
That's got to be a
Man,
shirt,
by the way, I don't know if you saw
that new Lee Moriarty shirt,
Right?
You know he designed that.
I know. He designs all of his own shit.
I know.
Oh, my God.
Fantastic.
That shirt is amazing. I don't care what this is. This could be on a magazine, a poster.
I know.
A poster. This could be on some sort of frozen meal. I don't care what it would be.
Phenomenal.
I'm buying this shit.
Do it. And
it makes everybody else's look stupid. like what? Who is this? Oh, it's a. I don't mean to dump on Fuego. I really don't. But like this is terrible. This Team Taz shirt is awful. We build assassins. Yeah. These are it's all just dog shit that you'd never wear anywhere. And then there's fucking Lee Moriarty's. Like you could wear this anywhere, and you'd look like $1 million.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
Yeah, it's a great shirt. I might have to get one myself too. We could be twinsies, Steve.
Awesome. I've always wanted that.
Well, we both have the Super Click shirt.
I know.
Actually, we have the same. We have. There's several shirts that we both have.
Yeah, I know. But this Lee Moriarty one, this is like the only one I'd wear to a bar.
After that, we had a Hangman Page, Adam Cole video package hyping up their title match on Rampage this Friday. Really well done. Some good stuff. Adam Cole saying, I'm not scared of the stipulation. I'm scared not going back, be able to go back to my hotel room with the title, look in the mirror and say, I'm the best wrestler in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good stuff.
Great stuff.
Then we had our main event, Samoa Joe versus Minoru Suzuki for the Ring of Honor television title. Of course, Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt sit ringside. And yeah, dude, it's just chops, forearm strikes, back to chops. And then Joe finally, after, I swear to God, like 5 solid minutes.
It was a while.
Joe finally hits a forearm that staggers Suzuki. They trade a bunch. And then finally, Joe, with his, I think they said 80-pound, 60-pound weight difference.
Yeah.
Drops Suzuki with a shoulder tackle.
Yeah. And more chops on the floor during a picture-in-picture break. And they both realize they're getting counted out. And so they both point to the ring and tell each other, get in it. They get in there, more chops, more forearms.
Yeah.
And then they start getting some ground-based stuff. Suzuki counters a clothesline with an arm bar. Joe hits a power bomb, gets a 2, transitions right into an STF, then a Saturn. Here am I? Anyways, eventually though, Suzuki hits a drop kick on Joe, locks on a sleeper. He's looking for the Gotch pile driver. Joe blocks that. Suzuki goes back to the sleeper. Joe drives him into the corner, puts him on the top rope, hits it ensigiri. He's looking for the muscle buster. Suzuki, though, counters with an armbar. Eventually, Joe, though, breaks free, hits muscle buster to get the win. He is new Ring of Honor TV champion. And that's when Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal come out to the ramp and say, hey, Joe, told you we had a special present for you, and you're really going to appreciate it. Here it is. So Jay Lethal's holding a box with one hand. So he opens up the box with that hand, and inside the box is his hand with the middle finger up.
Yeah. And right there. Would have been perfect.
It'd been pretty funny. Just heavy sigh from Joe.
Oh, that'd be terrific.
That'd be great.
And then
Instead,
we're out of time.
lights went down.
They spend like give it like a 30-second overrun. Like Tony Khan makes a big deal. Oh, we got an overrun tonight.
And it's
30
just
seconds for a
slow,
middle finger.
it's a slow zoom in on Joe's disappointed face.
God, Tony Khan, grow some balls, okay? Because that's a great idea. Warner Media, HBO, y'all in the same family.
Yeah.
Get the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme.
That'd be great.
And end it with shenanigans, with gift pranks.
That'd be great. So instead, lights go down, come up. Satnam Singh appears in the ring. He lays out Joe, throws him the ring steps, puts him back in the ring, and it ends with Jay Lethal hitting Joe with a lethal injection.
Yeah. It was a good looking lethal injection, but yeah, it was just, it's goofiness. It's I'm cool with people coming from all different professions and whatnot to be professional wrestlers. I mean, AEW, they've established that like the majority of their people are, come from the independent ranks. They came up as professional wrestlers, et cetera, et cetera. But it just feels, because it's a thing that WWE does, especially now where they've stopped taking people from the independent ranks.
Yeah.
It smells like a WWE thing. And hopefully this guy can, maybe if he's really into it and he wants to do it and he's good at it, he'll have a long career in pro wrestling. I hope that's the case. But in the moment, Tony's got to realize that like, that kind of stuff will just sort of turn people not off necessarily, but it gives you the wrong kind of rub,
Yeah.
And I don't think it does many favors for the guy you're debuting,
Mm-mm.
So I don't know.
I mean, I understand. We kind of called it last week when Jay Lethal was teasing a present for Joe, and I think one of us or both of us like, oh, he's going to debut some really huge dude that's going to beat the heck out of Joe, and that's what happened.
I didn't realize. I didn't think that it was going to be like an actual large person, like a massive human.
Yeah.
I figured maybe Claudio Cameraman, like big as in, a name. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, if you don't want to have Claudio to come in as Jay Lethal's heater, So.
No, I agree. That's why you go with the middle finger and then Joe's face.
Slow zoom in.
Created by Larry Charles or whatever. Larry David. Let's talk about NXT.
Sure.
Brand new NXT tag champions. We had that gauntlet match. Pretty Deadly comes straight over from NXT UK to capture the NXT tag titles after the Creed brothers, full-on babyface now, had started out at number one. Although there's no difference between number 1 and 2. Started out at number 1. They actually did arrive. And went through the entire thing, including one of them dudes being powerbombed through a table.
Yeah.
By Briggs and Jensen. Yeah.
Who also had a really good showing in this match.
Who had a terrific showing, yeah. And so man, I thought so far out of everybody, the most development I've seen from day one to now. Grayson Waller already kind of had it.
Well, he got to the point where he kind of is now still, and he's kind of leveled off his development.
Yeah. The Creeds, I thought, were sort of like they could do a match. They have very quickly developed into a really good tag team. Mm-hmm. And I love to see that. They've obviously put in a ton of work. And I think they realize they've got all the ingredients to be, down the road, a couple of just really great or a really great tag team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this was a big show for them.
It really was.
I thought it was really cool. I love to see that kind of stuff. I thought it was really cool.
I mean, you could have had them win the titles here. They've been like, yay, Creed brothers, that's cool. Now when they eventually do win it,
it'll be bigger.
Exactly. It's going to feel momentous.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I don't want to criticize too harshly, but like I remember the most disappointing aspect of the gauntlet was the Pretty Deadly segment. The final match with Pretty Deadly. I remember them being a bit more dynamic wrestlers back in UK, but maybe that's just because they were against like Gallus and Mustache Mountain and some really good teams. But I felt like their portion of the match was by and large a lot of European uppercuts and sort of corner splashes and corner European uppercuts.
I do appreciate all the interesting ways they get to like code breakers though. There's two different unique ways they did it. And I was like, those are both pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so that was kind of cool. We had new tag team champions. I like that they're really trying to load these NXT episodes.
They are
with a lot of stuff.
And then you got this Joe Gacy stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I kind of like when he put on the Hall of Fame ring.
Oh, and the really bad sound effect of his fingers sizzling from the hot ring. Get out of here!
I kind of liked it.
That was so corny. That was so corny.
It was probably Harland next to the camera mic going.
And Joe's bad acting of it hurting. No.
Can you do a better performance of ring hurting as you're putting it on?
No, but that's also not my job, Steve.
Yeah, good point. Solid point.
Yeah, not into that storyline. I don't think, speaking of not doing any favors to somebody, I don't think this storyline is going to do any favors for Braun Breaker.
I mean, he'll get a win and he'll have a good match. Joe Gacy's a good wrestler.
Yeah, he's a decent wrestler.
But here's the thing. It'll also, look, this kind of shit's also preparing these guys for main roster.
Yeah, deal with that
because they do goofy shit there.
the thing that got me, though, so Braun, comes out and drops a promo and he's like, my dad's safe. Like, okay, you just took all the tension out of this storyline now. There's no tension now.
Well, it's been a week. Of course.
How did your dad get out? Did they just let him go? Did Braun have to pay some sort of ransom?
Ransom.
Did he have to guarantee Joe a title match in exchange for his father's freedom?
No, it was an old school WCW style cliffhanger, and then the next week it's always resolved. It's like, oh my God, DDP's facing off against the entire Wolfpack. We got to go to Robin Hood now. And then the next week it's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing. There's no. Yeah. It's a trope. I found another trope. Although unresolved cliffhangers or ill-resolved cliffhangers, that's not a terrible trope in pro wrestling. Usually, if you're like back in the day on Lost, they had great cliffhangers. Walking Dead always had good cliffhangers.
Yeah.
And what happens the very next episode, you find out what happens right afterwards.
Exactly.
Pro wrestling, the trope is you don't really see what happens right afterwards.
No. Or if you do, it's a week later, and the two people who were involved in that situation apparently haven't talked for that whole week.
Oh, the no communication thing.
Between episodes, yeah.
That's such a weird trope. No, I like that time sort of exists and doesn't exist between episodes.
Yes.
That's a good. So we're putting together this list. We're going to do a video for Friendo Club TV. And it's all about weird tropes in pro wrestling. So far, we've got how old men are, that the older you get, the more powerful you become. Mm-hmm. You grow in power. You don't get worse in power. You grow in power. Another one I thought of this week when I saw the Judas effect was the natural collision physics. The impact of a move has no bearing on the power of a move. The amount of energy expended in the impact of a move actually doesn't, like a leg drop is more powerful than a power bomb in some situations, depending on who's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, you think the move with the most torque, most power behind it would be the most destructive. Doesn't always work out that way. Yeah.
Doesn't work that. Just some old leathery leg dropping down on your
Alabama
upper chest.
Slam or a power bomb should be a finisher and no extra kick out of it.
Done. Top rope Spanish fly should actually take out both people, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Exactly. Also, we learned that Nathan Frazier has graduated from NXT UK, is coming to 2.0.
Hey, Ben Carter.
He's great.
He's fantastic. I wonder where he's going to... I always sort of worry about that. Like, where is he going to fit in? Because they don't do that.
They don't do cruiserweights anymore on there. So, yeah, like him and A-Kid, where do they fit in?
Mm-hmm.
They're fantastic wrestlers.
Yeah.
They're not huge characters, though, and that's what 2.0 is all about these days. It's characters, not so much... I mean, there's good wrestlers still, but...
I wonder if they're working on that for A-Kid. I wonder if they're going to do that with Nathan Frazier. Bring him in.
Maybe.
Different name, different gimmick.
Maybe.
Otherwise, he's going to be in WWE until his contract runs out. And he's going to run right to AEW.
Yeah.
He should go to New Japan, join Bullet Club.
That'd be pretty cool. Let's get into it. Show opens up in North American title match between Cameron Grimes and Solo Sikoa. Grimes retains thanks to interference or a distraction via Trick Williams, who distracts Solo, and then Solo gets out of the ring after hitting a splash off the apron on Trick, eats a cave-in from Grimes, and then Carmelo gets in the ring. He starts beating up Grimes. Solo tries to make the save, as though Trick hits him with a chop block, sends him to the post, and then Trick and Carmelo starts beating up Grimes, and then Carmelo picks up the North American title and then drops it on Grimes.
Yep. After that, we had a couple of promos from some participants in the tag gauntlet. First up, Grayson Waller and Songa. He says, me and Songa should have been handed tag titles on a silver platter. We got to go through this gauntlet match, and Songa's pissed. He's going to go through the other teams while I stand on the apron. Of course, that didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Then we had Malcolm Bivens and the Creed brothers in a promo. Even with their promo, the Creeds are coming off as more genuine, more authentic, more intense.
Yeah, I feel like Brutus is a little bit ahead of his brother in the promo department.
Yeah. He's the taller guy, right?
No, shorter.
The shorter guy?
Yeah, shorter, stockier guy. That's Brutus. Julius is the taller.
That's Brutus?
Yeah.
Who's got the blonde hair?
Brutus.
Who do you think is better at the promo?
Brutus.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
I noticed the other guy more.
Really? I feel like Julius is a little stiff still in his delivery.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah, where I feel like Brutus is a little more natural. Just a bit.
Fair enough. Bivens starts off by saying Pretty Deadly attacked the Creeds and destroyed their dojo, our dojo. He says, this isn't NXT UK, though. We're going to kick your ass. And the Creed says, tonight we get our revenge and we get the titles. So we're going to right the wrongs from Stand and Deliver and show we're the best, not just in NXT, but of all time. You got to hold off on that a little bit. Why don't you just start off with being the best in NXT?
Start there, win some titles, and then maybe start laying claim to best ever. I like this. Throughout the night, they had participants in the gauntlet match pick their positions from the tumbler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the tumbler. Yeah,
I used to use for like the Royal Rumble. You play bingo or something. You're familiar with the tumbler. They pick their ball out.
A6.
Yeah. Well, there's no A in bingo.
That's a good point.
But anyways, they pull out their ball. They seem content with their spot, and that's it. We don't know what it is, though.
Thank you. Roman Empire says bingo. Or bingo. It's been a while since I played bingo, man. I don't know the rules.
Apparently.
I don't know the rules.
So then we got a Broad Breaker promo. He says, I just want to send a message to Joe Gacy. You got my attention. Dad's home, but you got some nerve pulling that crap.
Ain go. Sorry.
He says, his father gave 20 years of business. He's a Hall of Famer. So how about you come out here, Joe, come to the ring and see who the real tough guy is. So Joe shows up on the Tron. He says, I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person. It was a pleasure meeting your dad. I understand you so much more. We set Rick free, but he left something behind. He pulls out his Hall of Fame ring. And he says, this symbolizes the sacrifices your dad made so you could stay in the ring right now. It also symbolizes your family's life work. And then he dumps it in the fire, and then he laughs. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, I like that. And there was an audible ooh when they dumped it in the fire. I like that. And then it was the plan the whole time to dump it in the fire and then burn his own finger with it? I guess so.
Now he has to wear that Hall of Fame ring for the rest of his career or have it surgically removed, because when the skin,
into the skin.
Exactly. When the skin heals back, it's going to be like around the ring.
Yeah, he's going to show up next week. He's going to be all infected and gangrenous.
I know. He's going to have a finger is going to be all shades of purple and green and stuff.
He's going to have the chills. He's got like blood
he's sweating all over the place.
Oh my God. You look like you lost 50 pounds there, fella.
Vomits mid-match.
After that, we had a Toxic Attraction interview. And Mandy's like, she's like, yeah, it feels great sitting with the women with all the gold. She says Dakota's got a lot of voices in her head, but none of them are whispering she's gonna be champ. So I'm gonna go out and show that we are the measuring stick in NXT.
Yeah. Backstage, Von Wagner lays out jacket time, and Robert Stone just goes, "Looks like there's no match tonight."
After that, we had Braun Breaker walking out to the parking lot. Cameraman tries to interview. He says, hey, get that camera out of my face. I got nothing for you. Gets into his Challenger and drives off.
Yeah.
And then we had Von Wagner versus Ike Jiro. Apparently this wasn't going to happen because, Ike Jiro had his ass beat.
Yeah.
Robert Stone gets on the mic. He says, looks like Jacket Time has run out of time. And after what Von Wagner did to them, you're never going to see Jacket Time again. This is Von's world. We're just living in it. So then Jiro comes to the ring, drop kicks Von Wagner out of the ring, grabs the mic, says, I'm pissed off. I'm going to kick Von Wagner's ass right now. And he actually put up a good fight.
He did.
This was not the squash that it should have been. Von Wagner kind of looked like an asshole even in victory.
But he won.
He did win, but I mean, come on.
It wasn't the most convincing victory, no.
No, especially the way Jacket Time is booked. They're just not booked. Like, they could easily have eaten this squash. Like, okay, Jiro, yeah, you're tough. You came to the ring. That should be your win. He shouldn't get any of his shit in, but it's Von Wagner. He's sort of a clown.
So then Sophia Cromwell shows up in the crowd and just points towards the ring.
Yeah.
And then Von...
And she's like nodding.
Yeah.
It's really mechanical and weird, like a Chuck E. Cheese figure.
And so Von picks up Jiro and then throws him into the crowd, front row of the crowd, from the ring. Out of the ring into the crowd.
Yeah.
Then we get a Nikita Lyon sit-down interview with Mackenzie Mitchell. She's asked about Lash Legend. She says Lash talks a lot of trash. She's athletic as hell, but she says, I don't have to prove myself to Lash. I have to prove myself to the NXT universe. She says, I can make waves in the women's division. And then out of nowhere, Lash comes in and just boots Lyon
was beautiful.
And her chair over.
It was comedic. It was. I saw the GIF of this before I saw the actual thing, and it is comedic. It is hilarious.
It is pretty funny. And then Lash tells Mackenzie, if you want to interview somebody, next time it needs to be me.
Yeah, man. After that, we had a pretty deadly video package where they pull their number for the gauntlet match. Afterwards, they pull the number for their gauntlet match from the Tumblr.
They seem happy with their position.
H39.
It's no H.
Dakota Kai versus Mandy Rose was next. This is a solid bout. Unfortunately, there was some distraction here from the rest of Toxic Attraction. Dakota Kai ends up turning into a V-trigger from Mandy Rose due to that distraction. And then Wendy Chu comes out, gets on the apron, and she's got a couple of super soakers with her. And she just starts dousing them with that super soaker, with the water in the super soaker, and Toxic Attraction acts like it's more than just a little bit of water.
Yeah, it's just water. I don't know why people react to being shot with water like they're being shot with like something horrible. It's just water.
Well, also, it'd be one thing if it was like, the beer truck or the milk truck that we saw on main roster years ago. But it's not like fire hydrant level of pressure here.
Yeah.
It's a child's toy.
It's water.
And it's just water.
So we're back to Joe. He has this promo where he talks about we are a society that lives through social media emotion. The world is run by the court of public opinion, not by the rule of law. Truth is what people believe, not what they know. But people don't know what they want until you give it to them or give them what they need. Braun can't carry the weight of NXT on his back. He's the only one. Joe, is the only one that can guide NXT. Braun is too emotional, too easy to manipulate. Says, I made him angry in one moment, helpless in the next. I can control Braun's every move, and I'll tear down everything in his life. But I may hang on to one thing. So he grabs an obvious pair of barbecue tongs. Tongs you would use on your grill.
Yeah.
And digs them into the fire, pulls out the Hall of Fame ring. And
do you have a problem with him using barbecue tongs?
Unless he was planning to grill some hot dogs on those flames afterwards. A little bit.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And then he puts that ring, which is still supposed to be hot at this juncture, but we know that because they put in the sizzling sound effect. And he's all, puts it on. He's got the ring on his pinky now.
You know what would have been way cooler is if he didn't. You're right. If he didn't use tongs and he just used his hand.
Yeah, that'd been better.
Yeah, because I think you could put a bunch of flame resistant stuff, goo on your hand, and then he just reaches down.
Or just do it really fast. You see it? In and out.
No, he does it slow. Goes like that. Brings it up. There's some melting flesh.
Real slow.
That'd be cool. Yeah, man, absolutely.
You got it.
After that, Legado, Del Fantasma's backstage. I didn't really get this. So Tony, maybe I just had it on too low. Tony D walks in.
Oh, it's real simple. Tony D tries to pay them off with some money, and then Santos says, my respect is more valuable than that.
Okay, all right. So let's go. So he walks in. He says, "Hey, we might have had a misunderstanding." He says, "But if things don't go their way this week, here's a little taste, a peace offering." What was the money for?
I guess their services. It's like, hey, if you lose, you can work for me.
Oh, if things don't go your way, I just was confused. Instead of peace offering, you should have said a job offer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I feel like Tony D hasn't actually watched any mafioso movies. Sort of confused about how this stuff works. And Santos is like, he's like, what? He's kind of doing the Andrade thing, offering up money and for services for people who are not for sale. So yeah, Santos gives them envelope back. He says the respect of this family is worth more than that, way more, which leads me to believe there is a price.
Yeah.
Like an attaché case full of hundos.
Yeah.
Might do the trick.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Then we got a Cora Jade promo. She talks about how important WrestleMania weekend was for her. Her family was watching. She was this close to getting the women's title, but getting that close made her realize she just doesn't want it. She needs it. Says the goal remains the same at 8. I wrote in my notebook that I would become champ in WB. I'm going to work my ass off to get to that reality and make sure my name is up there with all the women I idolized growing up. Sasha, she mentions Natalia, several more. And then one day my name will be with them and I'll hold the championship. And then she's interrupted by Natalia. Mm-hmm. She comes to the ring. As she starts putting over Jade, huge. She says, Jade mentions, hey, I don't know if you remember this. I went to a show in 2011. You pointed at me in the crowd and I sent you a DM. And Natalia says, I do remember that. I DM'd you when you made your debut in NXT, and I saw that message. And Natalia is actually like getting real emotional, and she's really putting over Cora. She says, I pointed to the right girl that night. You're the future of NXT, and the future looks bleak. And then she lays her out and then puts her in the sharpshooter.
Yeah, man. I was marking out for Natalia doing that because Cora's promo, the way she was acting when Natalia came out there, I was like, can somebody please hit her? Like, Natalia, can you just slap that sharpshooter on her? Because she was just geeking out and being a dork. And I was like, man, I was rooting for you to get that title, Cora. Now, not so much.
Not anymore, huh?
Not really. I mean, look, this is good. And it seems, I don't know, later on it showed Natalia backstage and she was like, hey, you're all on notice. So she might be there for a spell.
Stick around a little bit, yeah.
Maybe. I mean, that's going to be a good match. Natalia knows what she's doing.
Oh, yeah. She's got a match against Tatum Paxley next week.
Yes, correct, because of that backstage segment there. So backstage, Briggs and Jensen and Fallon are backstage. Briggs is like, we got to focus tonight. We got to go through every tag team to get the titles. Fallon says, tonight we got to kick some ass.
And they all get like, super hyped up, yeah.
Yeah, man. We had that Nathan Frazier video package. He's coming to NXT 2.0. And then we had Draco Anthony versus Zion Quinn. At a certain point in this match, Draco Anthony mocked Zion Quinn's little battle routine, little battle dance. I forget what it's called. And Zion Quinn didn't like that. And then he completely murdered Draco Anthony, hit him with that diving elbow finish. Zion Quinn has got a terrific look. I think this dude's got tons of charisma. I think he's like one of the prime, him and like Lash Legend will so benefit if they start doing the house shows.
Yeah.
Because this dude needs the reps. Like his move list is really short.
Yeah, I know.
Like he does not do a lot in there.
No. Then we do this bit with Natalia walking through the women's locker room. Tells everybody they're on notice, accepts the challenge from Tatum Paxley, and then we see Index and Dusha in backstage, and they're all arguing.
This made me laugh. At this point, this sort of like turned the corner for me because it's like, wait, they always hate each other. They're always never on the same page, and yet they are always together.
I know.
So it just sort of, I don't know. And then when they ended up on the same team. So anyways, what happened?
Yeah. So Persia says, if Duke and Dexter teamed up, they'd win the tag titles in the Scotland match. Indy says, well, that's a great idea. Duke says, no, not going to happen. Dexter, And then Indy and Persia really just start twisting their arms about it. Eventually, Duke Diaz says, yeah. And then Dexter gives the thumbs up.
I'm kind of looking forward to this team. I think Duke and the absurdity of Loomis, I think it'll be funny.
It could be. It could be,
yeah,
so long as they can
coexist. After that, we had the gauntlet match for the tag titles. First up, the Creed Brothers versus Legado del Fantasma. Of course, this is the team of Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro.
It's not a bad name.
I think it's a good name. Solid name. I've always been big into the name Cruz.
Good name.
It's a good name. So yeah. And this is good stuff. But Julius gets the win here for his team with a sliding clothesline on, I don't know who.
I believe it was Wild.
There you go. The guy without the
Wild.
name change.
Then we got the Creed Brothers versus Briggs and Jensen. Some long-term storytelling here. So Fallon comes to the ring with Briggs and Jensen, and as Legato's going backstage, Elektra Lopez goes up to Fallon, just pie faces her.
Ooh. Yeah, man.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
It's good showing here from Briggs and Jensen. At one point, they put Brutus Creed through the announce table with a powerbomb chokeslam combo.
Them working the heel a little bit, you know?
Yeah. He eventually works his way back into the match. Julius puts Briggs in the ring, and then Brutus hits Jensen with out of the ring. Sorry, Julius sends Briggs out of the ring. Brutus hits Jensen with a sliding clothesline to get the win. Next is Creed Brothers versus Grayson Waller and Songa.
I appreciate all Briggs and Jensen. I like that part of the story towards the finish was them not being able to close that match. Mm-hmm. And they were really like not on the same page when it came to like, you know, you see the Creed Brothers and they're pretty seamless finishing matches.
Yeah.
Briggs and Jensen, they're not there yet.
No. And that's kind of the thing is they were kind of like, even in kayfabe, put together as a tag team. It's not like something they sought out.
Right, exactly. And the Creeds are obviously brothers. Actual brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Waller and Songa. This match, of course, Waller started off on the apron, you know, sort of directing traffic, mainly interacting with the crowd. But then he got tagged in at a certain point, and arm was totally fine. It was all a big ruse. So I appreciate, though, like that sell job he did at Stand and Deliver. I mean, it probably actually hurt like hell.
I imagine it probably did hurt, yeah.
But it's not like it snapped or something, so that's cool.
No. Again,
I mean, they wouldn't have him on the apron if he had a
No.
legit busted arm.
No. So Songa took the pin here after, again, another sliding clothesline from Julius. And then we get our final bout in the gauntlet match, Creed Brothers versus Pretty Deadly. Again, Pretty Deadly, they got some cool ways they transition into getting these kind of like code breaker type moves off. It's pretty fun. Yeah. In the end, though, so Julius is trying to get back in the ring. He's not the legal man. That's distracting the ref. So Brutus is going for a sliding clothesline. Instead, Elton Prince boots Brutus, so he can't do it to Kit. And then Pretty Deadly hit their finish to get the win. Spilled milk.
Spilled milk. All right, man. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. If you're here in the chat, highlight some messages. Got a thread right here on the Patreon at patreon.com/Stephen Larson. Let's see here. This is kind of a loaded one here. Steve Klain. Well, okay, no, we actually talked about this a little bit. Steve Klain says, how would you book an episode of Raw like Dynamite? Oh, I thought he meant, how would you book an episode of Dynamite like we book Raw? The way we would do it, and that would be the middle finger to close the show.
Yeah.
But he says, how would you book an episode of Raw like Dynamite? In my opinion, Raw and SmackDown, so WWE main roster programming simply suffers in the pacing department. There's too many recaps. There's too many rematches.
Too many
and it doesn't have
elongated talking bits too.
It doesn't have a sense of urgency.
Nope.
And even in the talkie bits, and you can tell when AEW slows to a crawl, it's Dan Lambert is given much too time on the mic. Every once in a while, somebody will just drone on and on. Mm-hmm. And if they're not compelling, they're not going to keep us into it. WWE has too much of that.
Yeah.
And so it's honestly, it's so much in the pacing. And so much of like Attitude Era stuff was the pacing was the way Dynamite
bang.
is.
Like matches were like 5 minutes on Attitude Era Raws. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Stuff just moved. Mayor of Planet Houston. Who else should Joe Gacy kidnap to make a statement? Scott Steiner.
Scott Steiner, of course. Yeah. Absolutely.
Patty Swan. Not sure if you already talked about it. Did you see the Young Rock tease with the Young Roman? Yes, I did see that on Twitter.
I did. I thought that was good. I thought that was really good. And it makes me think that Rock really wants to do that. Let's see here. Soak and Roast. Should Hook still be a part of Taz's faction? Yeah, it's his dad.
Yeah, of course.
Although I wouldn't be opposed if he joined the Blackpool Club.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Jorge D. So what happens to best friends now? Yuta ditched them and made them look like chumps. I think Statlander also ditched them and got cool all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Need more Roppongi.
Roppongi Vice. Roppongi Nights. Eating chips. Xavier Gray. Who are the top baby faces and heels on NXT 2.0? Braun Breaker.
Braun.
Mandy Rose is top heel for the women.
Yeah. You got Carmelo as a heel.
Probably Carmelo.
I think they want Cameron Grimes to be number 2 babyface. I mean, he is North American champion after all.
I can see that. Top face in the women's division is probably Cora Jade.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be Cora Jade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roz Cody says, I was a fan of Kushida in New Japan. How do they bring him back to that same level or at least or better? Got to win. Need some wins.
Yeah. But the thing is, WWE doesn't do cruiserweights unless you're Rey Mysterio. Let's see here. Thomas Dunnigan. Would you say the Ring of Honor titles are good for AEW talent that aren't in the AEW title picture like Joe? Or do you think Ring of Honor titles should only be for wrestlers who are more specific to that promotion? I don't know that...
Well, I think that is really answer that question. We kind of have to wait till Ring of Honor has some sort of regular programming. While it doesn't, you need to keep the brand fresh in people's minds, so it's going to be on AEW television. I think that's a good idea. You know, if they want to keep that brand relevant, then you got to have titles defended. You got to have Gresham defending the title. Now, Joe, Wheeler Yuta with the pure title. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, they've got so many people and such a wide variety of wrestlers that, you know, nobody's going to complain when Joe puts the Ring of Honor TV title up. It's a Joe match. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to like that. Everybody likes Wheeler Yuta. People are going to be fine watching him in a Pure Rules match.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I don't have a problem with the Ring of Honor titles being in AEW. You know, I have a bigger problem with AEW not giving their women very much time on TV.
Yes.
Let's see here. John Elite says, with Natty showing up last night on NXT 2.0, who else do you see from the main roster making an appearance?
Good question.
Natalia is kind of the Dolph Ziggler of the women's division, huh? Yeah.
I mean, they're only going to go to a point in terms of bringing main roster. They're not going to bring main eventers over.
Oh, no. Yeah. It's going to be Dolph level. I could see like maybe Alpha Academy. That, you know, maybe that's sort of like, you know, on the horizon. I could see Alpha Academy versus the Creed brothers.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a good match.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Tomorrow at noon Pacific,
correct,
3 Eastern, we've got NXT UK. We're going to watch that on the Twitch. And then we're going to do The Numbers Don't Lie. We're going to revisit Bret Hart. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, tomorrow night, the Smash Zone at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.